In 2018, a man dialed 911 to report a murder. He gave the exact location, the precise time, and the victim's full name. The problem was, the crime hadn't actually happened yet. The call came into the Greenwood City Police Department at exactly 6:42 p.m. The man on the other end spoke in a completely calm, flat tone, showing zero panic or hesitation as he delivered the details. He stated clearly that at exactly 9:15 p.m. that night, a man named Daniel Harper would be killed in the Riverside Mall parking lot. Then he hung up. Officers were dispatched to the mall to watch the lot, just in case. At 9:13 p.m., a dark sedan pulled in. A man stepped out, and a single gunshot rang through the dark. The victim was pronounced dead minutes later. His ID confirmed his name, Daniel Harper. Investigators now had an impeccably executed crime on their hands, and only one thread to pull: the anonymous caller who knew the exact script before it played out. Tracing the untraceable number took time, but the signal eventually led police to the edge of town. They found a vacant, completely dilapidated house where nobody had lived for years. Down in the empty basement, they found an old beige landline telephone still mounted to the wall. It was plugged in, and the plastic handset was still physically warm to the touch. Detectives pulled the registration records for that specific phone line to find their suspect. The account belonged to a man named Michael Turner. They ran Turner's name through the system to issue a warrant and hit a dead end. Official state records confirmed Michael Turner had passed away in 2008. The only lead was a man who had been buried for 10 years. Investigators pulled Turner's file to verify the timeline. The paperwork was flawless: hospital admission logs, a certified death certificate, and a recorded burial at the Greenwood Cemetery. But buried in those older files was a single police report that Turner himself had filed just 1 month before he died. In that 2008 report, Turner complained to police that someone was stalking him. He told the intake officer, "There's a man who keeps calling me, and he knows things that haven't happened yet." Police dismissed him as paranoid, but comparing the dead man's words to the perfectly timed murder revealed a deliberate, decade-long pattern. To see how far this pattern went, detectives fed the Harper case details into their database to search older, unsolved files. This timeline plots the search. Between 2008 and 2018, police received 3 other calls predicting violent crimes. Each followed a strict formula: exact minute, location, and victim's name. Digital forensics revealed every call originated from the exact same registry, Michael Turner. The evidence board painted a terrifying picture. Somebody was using a dead man's identity to broadcast future tragedies with perfect accuracy, consistently for 10 long years. The most logical explanation for investigators is a highly intelligent killer playing a very long game, a human orchestrator manipulating evidence to toy with law enforcement. Under this theory, a living person hijacked Turner's abandoned property and landline, using a dead man's name as a permanent shield to conduct an elaborate cat and mouse routine. But that theory breaks down when you look at the strict chronological precision. A mastermind can spoof a phone number, but they cannot perfectly predict the exact minute an unpredictable human target like Daniel Harper will decide to pull his car into a random parking lot. The logical mastermind theory neatly explains how the physical evidence was manipulated, but it completely fails to explain how the caller possessed total chronological omniscience. That massive gap in logic brings investigators right back to Turner's original 2008 police report. He warned them about a stalker who literally knew the future, years before the system could even register the threat. Today, the Daniel Harper murder remains completely unsolved. The abandoned phone line in the basement eventually went silent, and no new calls have come in. The investigation is officially cold, but the detectives who worked the case are still left with one disturbing psychological question about the caller's motive. If someone actually possessed the ability to perfectly predict a fatal timeline, were they making those calls in a desperate attempt to stop the violence? Or were they just making sure an audience was listening to their masterpiece?